Hey, Yinz guys and gals, gather round for a journey like no other. It's time to hop on board the Where Yinz Goin podcast, proudly brought to you by Dreams by Design Travel. From the rivers that meet at the point to form downtown Pittsburgh to the furthest corners of the globe, that'll be your compass, your confidant, your companion in that as we explore the wonders of travel. Kick back, relax on your couch, and let the wanderlust wash over Yinz as we discover new horizons and reminisce about old favorites. With Dreams by Design Travel by our side, the sky's the limit. Join Matt on the Where Yinz Goin podcast because when it comes to travel, the journey's just getting started. And now, without further ado, let's give a shout for your guide through the highways and byways of travel, the man with a map, the voice of the steel city, Matt Trader.
How Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Goin podcast. I'm Matt. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me again today are people who have been on the podcast the most, well, besides me. One is my co-host Katie, and then our frequent contributor Justin. Welcome, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And I think Justin is up there now because he does the introduction. So thank you for that, Justin. So you hear his voice in the beginning all the time.
It's awesome. It's really good.
And just a little bit of background on everything that goes on with the podcast is that Katie and Justin, they were competing for a while to see who would be the most frequent guest. And then, whenever I decided to name a co-host, they actually fought over it. Katie lost, so she's here now. So, no, they're both wonderful. Whenever we have a guest, we start the podcast this way. Justin, what is your favorite place you've ever visited, or is there a place you'd like to visit the most? I know you've listed half the world now, but
right. Actually, I have a new place that's sort of up there favorite wise, and it actually goes well with what our topic's going to be today. It's actually going to Harry Potter and Universal. I just recently got to do a trip with my daughter, who's a big Harry Potter fan. I was telling Katie before that we spent basically the entire day just in the two sections of Harry Potter, and it was so fun just getting to see her see all these things for the first time.
And that does tie in exactly with what we're going to talk about with Epic Universe, because you're going to have another chance to go to another Harry Potter world in a couple months now. So, but I do agree that the both Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventure and Diagon Alley in Universal Studios Florida are amazing. We were just talking about that, before we started recording, that they went above and beyond, and it is so fantastic with the level of detail and little nuances that you get. And like I've said it on here before, I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan. That I've seen some of the movies and I know the general characters and general what goes on with the movies, but it's definitely worth going no matter what, even if you're a big Harry Potter fan or not.
I wonder how many people miss like Diagon's Alley, like because it's so perfectly like kind of like hidden and like you could walk around, and if you're like distracted by tying a kid's shoe, or like if you're hungry or something like that, you could totally miss the entrance to it. I wonder if there's people that are actually like went the whole day long and just didn't make it into there. That'd be kind of sad.
Those are not the Harry Potter fans.
You got your robe and your cute little wand. Maybe Harry Potter. Justin, do Potter fans, is it okay to call them cute little wands, or do they like to have it phrased another way?
And I don't know if there's a personal preference there at this point.
I just wonder if they're like, if they've ever missed it, because it is so immersive, right? You walk in and it kind of just takes your breath away, which is all the more reason that you should be on the Hogwarts Express train, and then you won't, for sure, that with the park to park pass and everything like that. That would probably avoid that whole thing.
Yeah, I think if we would have went the opposite way, I might have had to look for it a little bit more. We came the other way from Hogsmeade over, so we came out the front to go out by the night bus and everything.
Yeah.
And so it was easy for us to get back because we came that way. So, but I think going the other way, I might have had to have referred to like the app or something like that to just double check where the exact entrance would be, because it is pretty well hidden there.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I mean, it's not like up in your face. It's just kind of like a little like, yeah, you kind of wander in and then like it takes your breath away how cool it is. So
The best kept secret at Universal Studios Florida.
yeah, I hope not. Probably not. Like if you're
No.
going, you're like you're all in, right?
And of
So
course, whenever you have a travel advisor like us, we tell you all those little things of what to look for and how to find it. So,
this is
and to expand on what Katie said about the Hogwarts Express, if you have your park to park ticket, you can ride it. If you don't have the park to park ticket, you can't. So, all the more reason to get park to park. So, but we're going to talk about Epic Universe, which will be the third theme park and the fourth overall park at Universal Orlando. It will open on May 22nd, 2025. So, just give a little bit of a timeline of the Universal Orlando parks. That Universal Studios Florida opened on June 7th, 1990. So that's older than all of us here, right?
I wish.
Yeah, not quite. Okay.
Right.
Islands of Adventure opened on May 28th, 1999. And then Volcano Bay opened on May 25th, 2017. So all in that general late May, early June time slot of the year. So this fits right in. They get to all, have their joint birthday parties together, I guess. I know we do that with our family. All right. Whenever we get together, it's all right. Who's having birthdays roughly around this time? Then we celebrate. So it saves some time.
I think
Now,
this Epic is going to be a total game changer for Universal too. I think it's just going to be, I think all of their parks are great and they all have things that you just absolutely love. I would venture to guess that Volcano Bay is one of, in my opinions, one of the best water parks, one of the most immersive water parks. And I love Disney water parks. I think they're great. But Volcano Bay has so many things packed into it. But I think Epic is going to just be on a whole another level for Universal. And I think it's going to be one of those parks that is going to have the hype around it right now is incredibly strong. But I think that once everything opens up and people actually see what Universal has done with some of these well-loved stories and things that people just really attach onto, I think that it's just going to be one of those things that you're like, I have to go, and you're not going to want to miss out on it.
and if you want to hear more about the other water parks that Katie gushes about, you can listen a few weeks ago that we have the water park episode.
Can you use the word gush and talk about water parks?
Well, if we're talking about Blizzard Beach, we must use the word gush
This
because
is
there's the slusher gusher. So,
yep.
all right, since we were just talking about Harry Potter, let's go to the wizarding world of Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic. So this will take place in the 1920s in Paris, is what the main part of the area is themed to. But you can take the Metroflu to the 1990s British Ministry. So I guess that's the Harry Potter version of the Channel that you get to go from France to Britain.
Mhm.
So some of the attractions, and this is probably like built as the big attraction, I would say, is Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. So this is a little bit of background is that Dolores Umbridge is on trial after the Fountain of Magical Brethren was destroyed. I believe that's right. Harry Potter fans, check me on that. Actually, don't check me, just believe me, it's right. Okay. And you have to help Harry Potter, Ron and Hermione stop Dolores on her, after she got out. And you're going to travel on a magical lift. And you go through the different departments of the ministry. And the Metroflu has over 80,000 subway tiles that they put into this attraction. So they really went all out with the decorations on this and trying to make it look authentic. And the British Ministry of Magic has over 125,000 ministry tiles in 5 colors. So just the level of detail that they're putting into all this, the little nuances, it sounds like it's gonna be really fabulous. And there is a minimum height of 40 inches.
I think that 40 inches is a really, not that there's not a ton of things to do in Epic, but for smaller kids, but 40 inches is kind of going to be one of the most magical heights. Like they're going to be able to ride so many things at 40.
Yeah. And it's not 40 inches isn't like too tall. I mean, my little girl was like 3 and she could do stuff like that. So, although she's a little bit taller, but still, you're looking at fairly young kids that pretty much everyone's going to be able to ride this, who's going to be able to at least sit still through it. Other thing they have is the tent of Le Cirque, was it Arcanus?
Mhm.
So, right?
Yep.
Um, you have Ringmaster Skender has stolen Newt Scamander's suitcase of fantastic beasts. To make sure I'm pronouncing all that right. The circus employee Gwendolyn must help rescue these creatures, and then there are live performers, puppets, special effects, and you can see strange and unusual acts as you walk to the main stage. So this is as you're walking in with the queue. The queue here looks fabulous. They really went all
Mhm.
out, at least from the artist depictions that I've seen, that they're going all out with making waiting in line part of the entertainment. So it's not going to be one of those rides where waits how long? I would just stand here. You're going to have something to look at and something to entertain you as you're going along.
Yeah, and that queue, for what I've been seeing and hearing on it, um, the initial tent that you enter through is sort of going to be like the scenario with the Quidditch World Cup, where they had the smaller tent and ended up being like 20 times bigger on the inside. Sort of the same deal here. It's gonna be a more reasonable sized tent, and when you go in, it's just gonna be something special to see.
I think you're just describing my house too, that it looks small on the outside, but it looks really big on the inside. I don't know how that works, but and of course there is going to be shopping there. And this was it Cosme Acajor Baguettes Magique. And this is of course where you're going to buy your wands. Remember though that the wand chooses the wizard, so you don't really have a choice. It picks you.
I'm
Well,
telling
with this one, actually, it's the French take a little different approach on it than the ones in England. This is going to be a little bit more of a designer wand thing, and they, I guess, have a way of partially customizing it to the uh, wizard. So it's a little different take on it than we've seen in the traditional Harry Potter storyline so far.
so these wands are like the Birkins of like Harry Potter wands. Like they're like
Yes, very
the
fancy and
fancy designer
yes,
ones. Yeah.
yes. So it'll be
Not Birkins
interesting
are
to see.
purses. Like really, really expensive purses. Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking like I don't have two of them already, okay? And I stand by my statement that even though the wand chooses you and then it, inspires you to design it in a certain way to let the style of the wand come out, okay? At
Well, and
least that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
we've talked about this. I also believe that the wallet chooses the wand sometimes too.
Yeah, well, the bank account definitely has something to say about that. So, and like in the other Wizarding World of Harry Potter areas, you can do magic in the street windows. So that's going to be pretty amazing. And the streets of the Place Cashie have the tallest buildings ever built for Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So you're in, we were mentioning about Diagon Alley before. Those are pretty tall. I know Hogsmeade's,
Mhm.
a little bit smaller, like it's a village type thing, but Diagon Alley, it's kind of imposing there. That there's kind of streets are somewhat narrow and really high buildings. So, it's like alley really defines it.
Yeah, I think they said the smallest buildings from the other two lands are going to be, or excuse me, the tallest buildings from those other lands are going to be the smallest building in this new one. So it's gonna be like true city, like versus like small London streets. So it's gonna have a big space difference versus what we're used to seeing in those other lands.
Well, we are walking through the magnificent city of lights in Paris with all this, so it fits.
Yeah.
And now in the shop, to go with the little bit of a higher end feel, that there is a chandelier made from over 800 crystal wands and adorned with brass pixies that hangs from the ceiling. So I'm excited just to see that looks, the artist renditions make it look so amazing that I think it's going to glow. Well, literally, but you know,
Who's in charge of shining up the brass pixies?
I nominate Justin.
Really big ladder, a lot of
Right.
elbow grease, right?
Please no spit shining, or watch out below. They're doing that.
Right.
So of course there are places to eat. There's the Café L'Air de la Sirene. So this is, you can dine inside or outside. This will have French baked goods sandwiches, the plats du jour, and desserts. It's the old, what was that from Dumb and Dumber? You know, what's the soup of the day? What's the soup du jour? Oh, that's the soup of the day. Oh, it sounds good. I'll have that. So of course you can get butter beer here, and then you can get regular beer, cocktails, French wine, and they have a towering, is it Shaw a la creme? Shaw a la creme, which is a towering, these are towering dessert displays that are made from almost 2,000 decorative cream puffs. Well, after I go, it'll be 199 or 198 or 197. No, do not eat the decorative displays, okay? We don't
So
want them to
Justin,
fall.
what do you think about this land? Are you like totally excited and just like what are your thoughts as being like the official Harry Potter ite of the podcast? What is your thoughts on it?
I'm I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm less invested into this portion of the storyline overall, except for the ministry ride. I haven't watched the Fantastic Beasts storyline as much as Harry Potter, the original ones, and so I think it's gonna be really cool to see. I like going to the other lands. I know a lot of the stuff in the weeds with that stuff. Here, I'm gonna be discovering a lot more. And speaking on that, discovering things. Apparently, we should be bringing the translator apps with us for signs and things like that because they will be in French for some of the stuff. So there's going to be little things to discover. Not necessarily that the main stores you're going to have to be hunting for roughly, but there's going to be a lot of little hidden things that you'll be able to use if you either know French or have a translator app.
That's cool. It'll be interesting to see how they integrate both of the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts storylines into, and I know that they integrate anyways together, but into one land, how they keep that kind of cohesive without overlapping or making it confusing for people.
Right, especially when you have a 70-year jump in timeline. That's uh, going to be interesting and see how that reads for people that maybe aren't big into Harry Potter itself, if that's going to impact their experience or not.
Well, it's magic, of course. So anything's possible. But I know my two younger sisters are much bigger Harry Potter fans than I am, and I have a couple younger cousins who were born in the mid to late 80s who are really, really big Harry Potter fans. Like they were the ones who bought the book the day it came out and they sat there and read it that first day and completed it in that first day. So I know they're really looking forward to this. And I'm excited after seeing what they did at the other two parks with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And I haven't been out to Universal Studios Hollywood, but I have to get out there and see their Hogsmeade too. But with how good they did the other ones, I'm looking forward to see what they do with this, and especially like you said, it's gonna be bigger, and so just how immersive and completely, and engrossing you it is going to be for you.
Well, the one thing you know about Universal is they don't mess with their Harry Potter, right? They don't like it's not like a like half job. They make sure because they know that this like franchise and stuff like that, that they're people are gonna hold them to it, right? That
Mhm.
this is something like beloved and like I hate to use like the word sacred, but you know what I mean? It just it matters to people. And so they're gonna
Mhm.
hold them to a high standard. And they so far have I think, in my opinion, I think they've done a really good job with honoring the storyline, with making sure that people get it and that there's not a lot of questions about whether or not this is where you're at. So it'll be cool to see what they do with this one.
And Justin, we have to get you on record of the biggest question out there. What type of butterbeer? Do you go the frozen, the cold, the warm, the fudge, the ice cream, one of
Um,
each?
Probably if I had to choose only one at this point in time, it's the frozen. I still need to get the ice cream. I wanted to grab it this last time and uh, didn't end up working out. But yeah, so far frozen for me.
Katie, that was your answer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like the frozen one. I mean, I'd actually just like a Coke. I'm sure that like Harry Potter every once in a while was just like, you know what? I'll just take a Coke today. The caffeine is needed. So
And Coke, if you want to sponsor us, we're looking. So, all right, let's move on to probably what my little girl will love the most is Super Nintendo World because she saw the Super Mario Brothers movie and we watched that, you know, 300 times. No, I'm sorry, that's a gross exaggeration, at least a million. So, but this will have two kind of areas ish thing is one is the Super Mario Land and then Donkey Kong Country. So more in the Super Mario Land area with the attractions you are of course are going to have Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. This is like a 3D slash 4D simulator that you wear special goggles, which basically whenever you put your helmet on, it's like a shield in front of your helmet that um, then it has things projected so you can actually see and interact with what's going on. It's really neat technology how they do it. And as you ride through on your cart, you try to collect coins and you're throwing shells and you're going to try to win the golden cup. And the outcome here, which is really neat, the outcome can vary. So depending on how you do, you can have a different ride experience each time, which again, more rideability, which is great. And the queue here is really immersive. And if anyone's been out to Universal Studios Hollywood, they have this out there too. And where's it out? In Tokyo, correct? That they have the Super Mario
yeah,
World, the or Super Nintendo World. That the queue is very immersive. That you're gonna walk by the lockers for Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad. There's a big statue of Bowser. You can see a model of the Golden Cup. So what you're gonna go and win. At least I'm gonna win it. I don't know about the rest of you. And then there is a minimum height of 40 inches for this.
this is like a super not no pun intended super popular attraction in Hollywood right now. It is one of the like best things. People talk about it all the time. And I think it's going to be great that Florida is getting this. I think it's a big deal. I think that it's going to be one of those things that like creates kind of like a like friendly competition between people and just kind of a fun like atmosphere. I love the like Super Mario, like the whole game is like a lot of like bounce and bop and beep and move everywhere and like so when our kids were really little and they go to bed like a lot earlier than they do now as teenagers, um my husband and I we'd like kind of like wind down with a good old game of Super Mario Kart just to see like who would have to do the dishes or who was on night duty. So it's a great like fun lively colorful area.
What is this friendly competition you speak of?
We
I'm
are,
all out to win, and no matter what.
you take no prisoners.
Exactly. Sometimes little kids cry, but it builds character.
That's right. And then their therapists get paid years later. So
Next up is Yoshi's Adventure, and this is more of a kid's ride that you're gonna. It's kind of like a dark ride type thing, slow moving thing that you're gonna search for glowing eggs as you travel through the Mushroom Kingdom. And there's other characters that you can see on the ride. There's a minimum height of 34 inches, but anyone under 48 inches will need an adult. And this looks like a really cute thing. And this is something that will be right up my little girl's alley. One, because she loves, the bright colors and everything of that, and just the whole recognizing common characters from the movies that she's seen. It's like, hey, look, there's so and so, and there's whatever. Oh, and again, she's also very competitive too. I wonder where she gets it from. But trying to find the eggs and looking for things along those lines, that she's going to eat this up. And of course, elsewhere in the land, you can meet characters like Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad, and possibly others. It was hinted at. They didn't give any specifics though. And then probably one of the most popular things that you can do in Super Nintendo World is the games or the challenges that you can do. That you're gonna want to get one of the power-up bands. That you don't need these to play all the games, but they help you to unlock prizes and get rewards and kind of keep score for yourself. So again, more of that friendly competition or die hard, win at all costs. And the power-up bands have different designs, so you can get with your favorite character or favorite design or favorite color, and you do have to buy these separately though.
I think, and I'm not like saying this with complete authority. I think that you can bring your power band if you have one from Hollywood. You can bring it to Florida too. So if you've already like picked out your favorite character and you're already been rocking your Yoshi band, you can use it again. So
Yeah, I'm not positive on that either, but I believe that's correct. That they are able
yeah,
to be used at multiple parks.
it'll probably shake out once they open and stuff. We'll know for sure.
Yeah.
Something that we for sure, if you're going to book a trip with us, and you've already been and you already have that band, just let us know and we'll get you an answer for sure on that.
And it also gives you another reason just to buy another power-up band if you really want to, because you have to accessorize and different color shirts that you have to match and with the hat. So, and more reason to go shopping if you want to go and get another one. Now, some of these games, there's the Goomba Crazy Crank, where you turn a crank to make the ground go fast enough to make the Goomba fall backwards, and then you win a key. So it's like on a treadmill that you have to crank him to go, too fast till he falls over as he's running along. There's the Piranha Plan Nap Mishap. So you have to run back and forth, tapping multiple alarm clocks to put the piranha plant back to sleep. So it's a huge piranha plant that you see. There's the Koopa Troopa Power Punch with POW is capital in power, where you hit the POW block with perfect timing to send the Koopa shell up a pipe and knock over the Koopa Trooper. So, you know, video games get a bad rap for this, but the hand-eye coordination and the timing and being able to coordinate with this, it builds real life skills and stuff like that.
Well, and
Plus,
this kind is so cool because it's like it's all like comes to life, right? The thing that you've been like, I mean, when you can't get your Goomba crazy crank to work on the actual game, you get to try it like on a like major big scale. How fun is that?
and I know personally with video games that playing Tetris has personally helped me on many, many occasions whenever I have to pack something in a car or in a suitcase or store stuff in drawers or whatever that I've become a pro at that. Recently, we found a little game that in a store, relatively inexpensive that had Tetris. It was just like Tetris on it, and then has a bunch of like 300 other games that I've never heard of. And my little girl wants to play that thing nonstop. So at least, we're making the future car packers of America better. There's the Bob-omb Kaboom Room, where you can collect fragments of a key from around the room and assemble them before a giant bomb goes kaboom. So before it blows up, did you have to kind of time challenge there? There's the thwomp panel panic. That you have to flip all these tiles on a wall to the same color with a digital key before you get thwomped by one of those big. How do you even describe that? It's like a big square with spiky things on it. And then
Mm.
there's Bowser Jr. Shadow Showdown. You have to collect at least 3 keys, again, using your band to confront Bowser Jr. So as you're going through the other ones, if you collect your 3 keys, you then get to take on Bowser Jr. Then you go into Bowser Jr.'s lair. Official word they use there is infiltrate. So we're getting really into things here. Now, of course, all of that running around with the games, you're going to work up an appetite. So they have the Toadstool Cafe. And this will be like what they have out at Universal Studios Hollywood. That this place has amazing theming, and even it goes down to the food. And it gets very creative with the design of like there's a little one of the is it a hamburger that comes with the flag in it, like whenever you defeat a level, and there's another one that comes in like the mystery, the question mark box. So they do a really, really good job with making the food part of the attraction here. And then over in the Donkey Kong Country area, they have the Mine Cart Madness, which I'm really looking forward to see how they do this. That you have to protect the golden banana. So you have a task to do, and you will jump across gaps in the track. And this is why I'm wondering how they're going to do this. Of course, I'm just hoping they, just get perfect timing that you can actually jump, because that would be a lot of fun. So
Well,
you're,
I did some research on it because I love Donkey Kong, and it's forced perspective. So they
Mhm.
have these like the actual track, but and they've said that it's just incredible how they make you feel like you're doing certain things, but the actual track is on one level, but where your eye meets it makes it feel like you're on that track, the other track that has all of the gaps and everything in it. So it'll be really cool.
I was hoping for a real life Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom type thing.
Wrong. No, no Indiana Jones here. None at all.
No,
So,
I said type thing, so not we can. It's a good reference, but you also perform other stunts from the Donkey Kong Country video games as you're on this ride, and there's a minimum height of 36 inches. So nice thing is that all of these, little kids are gonna love this just because of the colors and the characters, and especially with the new movie out that a lot of young kids have seen, and a lot of it's going to be accessible to them. That the height limits are really, pretty low for everything you get to do here. So that's really nice.
I think Universal gets kind of a bad rap for the fact that a lot of like in the other parks, it's it's not true, but a lot of the other parks people say things like there's nothing for little kids to do. There's nothing, they're not tall enough, they're not this, they're not that. And it's so nice to see that Universal has kind of like gone all in and said we are going to make sure that there's no question whether or not the whole family can enjoy Epic Universe. And I mean, not to misconstrue it, the whole family can enjoy all the other Universal parks, but it seems like they've really gone to a lot of lengths to make sure that there are something for everybody to do in all of these different lands.
Yeah, making
Yeah,
an
they've
emphatic statement.
they've really changed the way that I think people are going to be looking at them, because it was so much, oh, well, Disney is for the kids up to 10, 12, and then once they get into that tween age, oh, that's when you do Universal. And other than a few small things, and we were talking about this, some of the IPs that they use for like the cartoon characters are ones that my kid is not going to know. So it was Seuss Landing was sort of the thing for the youngest kids, and they've done really good at, as they've been integrating Harry Potter and some of these other areas, that they are doing heights and making things more accessible to more people. And I think that this is definitely going to be a huge step forward for them to attract a wider age group of people that are going to be attending.
And also with the DreamWorks land that they opened last year too, that brought, it was more specifically designed with kids in mind. And Justin and I did a podcast episode about going to Universal with young kids. So if you want to go back and listen to that, it's a real good listen. So now, having said all of that, this next thing we're talking about might not exactly be for all young kids. It's the Dark Universe. And this is going to be home to the legendary Universal Classic Monsters. Actually, before we go to that, did you have anything else you wanted to add for the Super Nintendo world? We're good. Moving on. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So in here, this first one is Monsters Unchanged, the Frankenstein Experiment. So you'll get a demonstrate of Dr. Victoria Frankenstein's experiment to control monsters that doesn't quite work the way it should. And Dracula leads a revolt of enraged monsters, including the Wolfman, the Mummy, the creature from the Black Lagoon. And you um, watch out for the Phantom of the Opera's organ, because there can be a lot of fire coming out of that. And it's housed inside of the Frankenstein Manor, and on the outside, it looks scary. The way they're designing it. So with Harry Potter, very kid friendly. With Super Nintendo World, very kid friendly. This one, make sure your kids are a little bit more into the being scared type thing, or reassure them, hey, don't worry, it's all fake.
Believe, I don't know if it was from an official um
Source.
Universal source, but I heard that there are going to be some jump scares within the line. So that's something to also be aware of if anyone's not into uh haunted houses, things like that. I don't think it's gonna be like Halloween Horror Nights or anything like that, but there's going to be, I think, some elements of surprise factors built into the queue as well.
That'd be interesting how often they do that, because if you're waiting in line for a while and you see up ahead that someone screams, oh, I guess there's one right
Right.
there. Okay. So, but I think they're very clever with the haunted houses of how they do that, of jumping out behind you and getting your attention on one side. So I imagine there will be other things if you don't know which way it's coming from.
And I really like how they've like leaned into the classic monsters, right? The
Mm-hmm.
ones where everybody knows the story. So you know the story of Frankenstein, you know the story of like Dracula, the Mummy, those kinds of things. But it's kind of cool that like they've I I don't know, maybe like kind of vintage monsters, but with the same like something's good when it sticks around and it can still scare you. I think this is really cool. I think the like Dark Universe it's such a big risk for Universal, um,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes sense. And I think it's going to be one of those lands that people that are huge fans of these older like legendary monsters are going to love it, but also you're going to have like a whole new group of people that are like, wow, this is so cool.
Well, some of these books like Frankenstein and Dracula are written 150 years ago, and some of the earliest movies back in the 1920s, 100 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
the was it Bela Lugosi, that's his name, how do you pronounce his name, correct?
Yeah.
With those that, I mean, they're still popular today, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that they have, even if it's not Dracula or Frankenstein or the Mummy, but you have offshoots of those, of like the Twilight series and other
Mm-hmm.
horror movies that go off of vampires and just the whole general idea of what these monsters are about. And they're so prevalent in so many other movies and different aspects of popular culture that it just it's great to see the original ones there.
Well, and Universal does scary really, really well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights is one of those things that if you want to book a trip during October and you want to like actually be scared, Halloween Horror Nights is incredible. You have to be brave. You have to be ready for it. Like they do scary really, really well. And we know all about like this event because we've had tons and tons of training on it and stuff like that. Some of
Mm-hmm.
us are not as brave about going. Like I would like to be brave, but I don't know. But they do scary really, really well. So I think this is going to help. Dark Universe is going to be one of those things that you're like, okay, go in, test it out, maybe get my feet wet, and then maybe come back and see if I can handle Halloween Horror Nights too.
And if you want to
Yeah,
learn more about Halloween Horror Nights, there is a podcast episode on that as well. Go ahead, Justin.
I was gonna say this is could be a very good introduction point for people that are like, well, I don't know if I'd want to do uh Halloween Horror Nights. This would be a good way to test the waters for like the quality of experience, and then okay, well, that was fun for the handful of hours we spent in that section. Yeah, I'll do the party and give it a shot then. So I think this might be a good way to test that for even for not even just adults, but like for is my 12-year-old going to be okay with it, with this type of experience? So ease them into it, and you're a short walk from jumping into another land easily if they need a break.
Or an even faster sprint.
Yeah.
And beyond the jump scares and stuff, that this queue looks like it's going to have some amazing theming. And this ride is going to be a motion simulator with a minimum height of 48 inches. So, again, since they're going for stuff that they're purposely making this a bit scarier, it's going to be a higher minimum height. So you're going to get older, a little bit older kids who are going to even be going on this to begin with. So that's good planning by Universal. Next one up is the Curse of the Werewolf, that you're going to enter through a gypsy camp, which that looks really neat. Just
Mhm.
the cue for that as well. Again, they're really going all in with this immersiveness in each land, and the theme of the whole premise of this ride is that you will try to escape a pack of werewolves. Emphasis on trying to escape them. We don't know. And this is basically like a spinning roller coaster. So again, cutting across parks, but kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is. It will go on the roller coaster track, but the cars will actually spin. And interesting thing here is that the seats are back to back,
Mm.
so that it's not everyone facing. So people are going forward and backwards. So that's a really neat thing, that where you're sitting, you can get a different experience with this ride. So again, more repeatability. It doesn't go super fast. It's only going to go 37 miles an hour. Although still, if you're spinning and going around and everything, that it's going to add with the other motion. It's going to add to it. The ride's going to be about 2 minutes long, and there's a minimum height of 40 inches, so a little bit more accessible to younger kids. So what's your opinion on roller coasters along these lines? I really, really thought that Cosmic Rewind was really good with the way they did it and everything. And I wasn't some, I'm getting old now, so some rides will throw off my equilibrium, and I'm not going to be eating a big lunch right after I ride some of them, or an hour later, or 2 hours later, whatever. So, but even my little girl, she loved Cosmic Rewind. That she had this biggest grin on her face the entire time. That she really liked the experience. So I'm looking forward to what they have here, and especially with the werewolf chase and everything else. That after what they do with the Velocicoaster, with having the raptors, chasing you along with that theme of it. That I think this one, since you're not quite going as fast, and since you get to spin, they're going to throw a lot of nice elements at you. And with the spinning, they can have again more of like a jump scare thing of throwing things at you that's kind of unexpected, or you're not sure where things are coming from. So this has a lot of potential to be an awesome roller coaster.
Yeah, I think it almost for me gives the feel of them crossing like Guardians with Hagrid's motorbike, where there's sort of little shock factors at points throughout the ride that you aren't necessarily expecting from that turning and stuff. I think that'll definitely give some really interesting opportunities to have very different experiences throughout.
And Katie's giving the look like she just rode this
Well,
after a big lunch. So
I was just thinking like back to back, 2 minutes, no matter how much it like flip flops your stomach, 2 minutes isn't too bad, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You can survive 2 minutes. I love Cosmic Rewind. It's one of my favorite rides of all time, but my husband can't ride it. It's just
Oh,
he can't. It just makes him like it makes him sick. And there's people that just can't do it. And I wonder
Mhm.
like if this one might be kind of similar to that, but 2 minutes, like you don't even have a proper time to scream while the werewolves are chasing you.
I wonder if there will be any difference for some people with it being a partially open air roller coaster
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
versus being in an enclosed building where it's sort of dark. Um, that
Well, and
might
I
be good or
I don't
bad,
like want to I don't want to speak ill of Guardians. It's my favorite thing ever. I love
right?
it. In fact, I heckled my husband telling me you're a big baby. But yeah, like this is like one of those ones that it's going to be fun to see what people think of it. It's going to be fun to see what they do with it. It's going to be like the actual like I mean there's so many of these things, right, that we can talk about them with you guys. We can tell you, we can describe them, but you're going to want to do them. That's the thing.
Mhm.
It's like you're going to want to experience the spark. And it's going to be important that if this is what you want to do, that you get with us and let's get your trip booked because it really is. I think I keep saying it, but I think this is going to be one of those like FOMO things where you're like fear of totally missing out on Epic, like big time.
And Katie, I really like people like your husband who don't ride these because it means there's a shorter line and I get to go on it more times.
This is right. This is right. we all have our we have a rule at all theme parks. You have one ride that you're allowed to like veto and nobody's going to give you crap about it. So Guardians is his and Tower of Terror is mine. So he still has the scars from the last time we rode on Tower of Terror together. I think I asked for the poor cast member when we got off. I was like, sorry, I think I asked for my mom a couple of times, and he was like, more than a couple of times. Are you all right? You okay? So,
And I love how Katie says everyone gets their one mulligan. You have that one ride where we're not going to give you crap if you don't want to ride it. And yet she's giving her husband a bunch of crap about not riding it.
well, I mean, yeah, there's a reason why we've been together for so long, and it's because we give each other crap a lot of times. So
You can give it as well as you can take it.
that's
So
right. That's right.
next up is the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. So you're going to go into Dr. Pretorius's old lab. And if you're not familiar with the more deeper nuance of the Frankenstein story, is that Pretorius, he helped to persuade Dr. Frankenstein, or is it Frankenstein, to create life both with the Frankenstein monster and with the Bride of Frankenstein. And then there's a whole lot more stuff with what he's doing. He's not always above board. And so in this one, you get to become a werewolf, a vampire, a mummy, and they say or more. So there's gonna have a little bit more of a, it's basically the monster bibbity bobbity boutique is what this looks like. And they're gonna have with their experience with the monster makeup show that they have
Mhm.
in Hollywood Studios, Florida, that now they get to use this on the people who are visiting, and so using that expertise that you see in that show. That I think that they're going to do, they can do some great stuff here.
I would like to take a whole Girl Scout troop and make them all into Frankenstein. It'd be fun to have like a whole gaggle of little you know like little ducks that are Frankenstein walking behind you. Like I would be the bride, and there'd be a whole little gaggle of little girls like I
You
can't
could
wait.
definitely have some fun with this.
Yeah, it'd be really fun.
And Katie reveals her plan of taking over the world.
I'm gonna be like the one day I'm gonna be like the best grandma because I'm gonna be like, okay, we're gonna take the kids, we'll take the toddlers, we'll take the like, 3, 4 year olds, and we'll like make them up as Frankenstein.
And this will be great for kids who have that little bit of active imagination and like to, put on plays and shows and, act up and use their imagination a lot. But this can be also a really great thing of calming some fears of young little kids who might not be too sure about going into the, with the other monsters of, hey, let's get you dressed up like the monster. That way they'll think you're one of them and maybe you can scare the monster instead of the I know that Milo Girl would love that thing because she likes trying to scare
Mhm.
people and jump on people and whatever else. So this will be right up her alley.
Well, and I don't know like all the particulars on it, but I bet that this is pretty like age friendly all the way from grandma down to
Hmm.
other things. Oh, think of the family reunion picture. Think of the Christmas picture.
Hey, we did the episode on group travel, so this is a great group thing to do, right, Katie?
Yeah, this is right.
And then in Darkmoor Village, you actually get to meet some of the monsters like the Frankenstein monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, Igor, or is it Igor? And then the Invisible Man, which I have pictures of him even from the other parks all the time.
If you close your eyes, you'll miss him.
Even if your eyes are open, you might miss him. So I'm interested in how they're going to do this with the Invisible Man, because that, because if you can't see him, and so I think they have prospects here, unless he's going to be like some of the other movies with the Invisible Man, where he just wrapped up in bandages, so he kind of looks like hospital patient,
That's
or
yeah, that's why I was
or
sort
kind
of
of like the mummy.
picturing was the
Yeah,
like trench coat, hat, and then the bandages was what I was sort of thinking.
I was picturing the fact that like you could totally tell your kids that you're standing next to the Invisible Man and totally miss the queue line of having to stand forever to meet the
Right.
Invisible Man. I mean, like he's over by the water fountain.
you just go and like put your arm up, like you just hold it up there, and you do like the cool handshake type thing. Yeah, I mean, oh, we're buds. We go, but way back. They also have other people in costume that they'll have musicians. There's the monster hunter in the village. You actually get to walk through a cemetery, and you can go to the catacombs under Frankenstein Manor. And they're going to have special effects that are created just for this area. So it sounds like they are channeling their uh, Hollywood Horror Night stuff and really going all out with the theming on this place to really make it awesome. And of course, monster hunting or becoming a monster really will work up an appetite. So they have Das Steakhouse. So this sounds like it was a place out of Pittsburgh with the Haus with the Haas, because that's how we say things. And the spelling on this is DAS for the first word, and then it's Stakehaus. So it's not Steak, it's Stake. So with the steak and the vampires, and so this is great. They,
This restaurant really gets to the heart of the matter.
but
But
And so they have paintings of vampires as heroes as the decorations of this restaurant. And it's run by the vampire familiars, basically vampire servants. So, and they will tell you to don't go to the catacombs below the restaurant. So that just means you got to go, right? And this will be a quick service dining location. They'll also have the Burning Blade Tavern. This is it will be in Darkmoor Village, and it's run by monster hunters. So you get both sides of this. You get the monster friendly one and the Star Wars cantina of we don't want droids in here type thing of no monsters allowed. And this is the windmill that's on top of this will burst into flames a couple times every hour. So I'm imagining every 10, 15, 20 minutes that this will happen. And the really neat thing here is that they have different fuels that are used for better visibility during the day and at night. So they have one thing for the day to make the flames better that way, one to make them better at night. So that's going to be really neat. It's going to be a unique experience. It's like one of those things where you have to see it in the day and then come back at night to see it. And this whole thing is built off of in the 1931 Frankenstein movie, the Frankenstein monster played by Boris Karloff is assumed to be killed in a burning windmill. So if you want to go back and watch the movie to prepare for it, they in this place will serve burgers, wings, pretzels, brats, and another quick service dining area. Now, if you're really good, you have your brats in that, and then you wait till the windmill bursts into flames, and then you just cook them that way. That would be my recommendation, but I don't think they're gonna take it. So, any final thoughts on the Dark Universe area? That I'm looking forward to it. That they have little nuances and other things that you don't have to know the old movies to enjoy it, But if you watch those old monster movies before going down, you're gonna get some more of these little nuances, like the Burning Blade Tavern and things along those lines, and just little things that you're gonna see. So, any other final thoughts before we move on?
No, because I'm really excited for we're moving on to. This is
All right.
this is my like this is worth the price of admission. This one.
So we're going to break off right here. We went really long talking about Epic Universe. Here's a lot to go over. So we're going to split this into two parts, and we'll pick up next week with the rest of what we're going to talk about. And there was a nice little teaser there with what Katie thinks is the most awesome thing at Epic. So tune in next week to find out what it is. I know you're going to be riveted and just in suspense the whole week. But we're going to finish real quick with a travel tip for me that we're talking about how Epic is coming and all that good stuff. Don't wait to go to Universal Orlando just to see Epic Universe. That they have some really good deals in the next couple months for Universal Orlando. You can get some buy one, get one tickets pretty much. There's a dining card you can get that's included with your Universal Orlando resort. So some really good deals. So if you want to have a really great experience and save yourself some money with it, definitely look into going to Universal Orlando in the next couple of months. And, even before Epic comes out, Epic opens in May.
Now, if you have a destination or experience that you would like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, or if you'd like to share your favorite destination or travel tip, please let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you are already working with a Dreams by Design travel advisor, please continue to work with him or her. Otherwise, Justin, how can people get a hold of you?
On social media, easiest way to get all of my information would be go to my Linktree. That's linktr.ee/vacationwithJustin. Or you can email me at justin@dreamsbydesigntravel.com.
Katie?
Dreams by Design Travel with Katie at Facebook, Katie Dreams by Design Travel at Instagram. I'm dipping my toes into Blue Sky right now, but I haven't really, I'm still figuring it out. So this old dog can learn new tricks. And my email is Katie, Dreams by Design Travel, Katie at dreamsbydesigntravel.com.
For me, my social media on Facebook, X, and Instagram is at Matt with DBD. Email is matt, M-A-T-T, at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. All this information is going to be in the episode description, so you can contact us if you'd like to book a trip or have any questions. You don't have to have that written down, right now, or have a photographic memory, or worry about any spelling or things like that. Justin, Katie, has been awesome. It's a lot been fun talking about things coming and building excitement, and I'm looking forward.
Epic is open for reservations right now. So if you want to do Epic this summer, if you want to do Epic at all this year, get with us because it's open now for reservations and we want to make sure that you get your spot.
So yeah, and it looks amazing. So I'm greatly anticipating how they pull all this off and what the final result's going to look like. So please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend if you like what you heard. Tell other people would like to get the word about what we're talking about here and what we're doing to grow our audience. Join us next time. We're heading out in that. We'll see you later.